It hasn't been 2 months. 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 Anyways, now that we agree that I have the totally best schedule for my posting, let's get to the video. Yes. Five Nights at Freddy's. Originally a small game made back in 2014 by a struggling game developer, Scott. I'm pretty sure you know what FNAF is. I mean, recently, this franchise has been everywhere. Games, plushies, toys, and recently, the movie. Anyways, today I want to focus on the books, specifically one story, In the Flesh. Matt is a game developer working on a VR game called Springtrap's Revenge. He is specifically in charge of Springtrap's AI program. Originally was married to a woman until they ultimately divorced in an argument over Matt cheating on her. After his divorce, it was hard for Matt to keep a relationship, none of them lasting more than 3 months. He was a hothead, and he used this rage to fuel his work time. This next part isn't as important, but basically, Matt tests the game, loses to Springtrap, and then speeds up the time in-game by 1,000 to torture Springtrap. The next day, Matt goes to check on Springtrap and finds out that he has basically been in a cycle of spawning new Springtraps that kill the old ones over and over. He goes into the game to see what's happening and sees Springtrap's dead body. Matt touches it and is electrically shocked. The next part is basically filled with Matt going on a double date with his roommate Jason and being a douche by asking Jason's girlfriend out. After a while, Matt begins throwing up and fails at repairing Springtrap's game. A man named Gene gets an unreleased copy of the game and finds a code named itsaboy.exe. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, Matt begins eating a lot and starts to get bloated. He goes on another date and straight up fat shames his date, then returns home because of pain in his abdomen. When Matt returns home, he feels a horrible pain in his stomach and decides to grab a kitchen knife, cutting it open. Upon cutting himself open, a tiny Springtrap crawls out and lays in his lap, calling him Daddy. How was this book published? Okay, so obviously we have a lot to work with here. And because this was the first official Matpat cameo in Five Nights at Freddy's, I think I need to do him justice. I mean, even him himself said he wasn't very happy with the story.
I do appreciate in this world that, canonically speaking, Springtrap is born out of a giant Freddy head and not out of my stomach, like it is in the books. I did not like the impreg stories that were happening with me in Springtrap,
So, for my retelling and redesign, I decided I would pay an homage to Matpat by making Matt look a little more like him. He's not as much of a douche in my retelling, but I'm sure he can be a little mean. Basically, the whole point of the story is karma, so I feel like it would take away something if I were to take away that quality. So, for my redesign, I decided I would use a very untouched subject that I thought was really cool when it was first introduced. And that, of course, being the whole concept of Vanny. So, for this, most of it in the beginning will be the same, besides the douchey part, obviously. But most of it will be the same in the beginning. Matt is working on a VR game, and that VR game is Help Wanted instead of Springtrap's Revenge, similar to Vanessa. And I really wanted to show how the glitch trap code was more of a virus and not just a thing that affected one person. So Matt is working on this game and everything is going okay until one day he gets infected by the glitch trap virus. And similar to Vanessa, he starts getting taken over by the virus. And he makes a bunny suit, similar to Vanny's, but I decided to make his a brown jackrabbit instead of a more white bunny because I just felt like it fit more, and I think it's really interesting. So back to the story. Matt gets taken over by Glitchtrap and begins obeying his orders and killing people. Similar to how it was implied that Vanessa was easy to take over because of her issues with her father, Matt was easy to take over because of his easy anger, similar to the original story. So, for a while, Matt is not very conscious about doing these things because he's blinded by his rage and driven by his rage. But after a certain amount of time, he begins getting self-aware again and doesn't want to comply to these murders anymore. So Matt basically feels trapped in his own body because it's been taken over by Glitchtrap. But he tries to fight back against Glitchtrap, but realizes it's basically useless because he's already taken over. So Matt does the only thing he can think of and stabs himself to get rid of Glitchtrap. So the ending is bittersweet because Matt does end up getting rid of Glitchtrap, or at least the part of Glitchtrap that is possessing him. But due to blood loss, like the original story, Matt ends up dying in the crossfire. And the story would end with the last couple seconds of his life and him enjoying not being under Glitchtrap's control for a brief amount of time. So, looking back on it, you would think a very simple storyline like the one I made would be an obvious option for what the book was about, considering that Bunny Call, the book In the Flesh Is In, came out in September of 2020, and Help Wanted, the original game where Glitchtrap was introduced, came out in May of 2019, an entire year before. Now, I'll give Ellie Cooper, the writer of the story, and Scott Cawthon and everyone else who is involved in this book, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm sure the game and the book were in production at the same time, so those departments most likely weren't talking to each other besides Scott, the main man. But I just really can't see a world where it would go to Mpreg as the first option. I'm sure everyone in the production team worked very hard on it, and it's not like my tiny reimagining is any better than what they wrote in that book. I mean, I'm just a high schooler, but I do think it was a really missed opportunity to use some sort of Vanny Glitchtrap storyline, because I think those two characters aren't really touched upon. They were kind of touched upon in Help Wanted 2 near the end, in one of the endings, but I really do think they're pretty cool, and I would have loved to see more of them, especially in a book. Thank you guys for watching to the end of the video. I really enjoyed making this Matpat tribute video, kind of, if you could call it that. This one is about 2 times the length of the other one, so I think I do like doing them around 10 minutes, so that'll probably be the normal amount that I do them. No promises, but if you want more FNAF videos or more redesign videos, I'll definitely do that. Just say what you want and I'll probably do it. But anyways, thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe, make sure to like, make sure to stay safe. Bye. Thank you.